to the February council meeting. I'll just jump straight into the welcome to the council meeting. We're opened at 9:30 a.m. Item number 2 is our report of the country. The Big Murray Council would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional custodians of the land, the sorry, I said this 10 times, I still won't get it right. The Nangarafu, Jerry, and peoples of the Big Murray lands and waters is upon their ancestral lands and waters that the Big Murray Council meets and operates, and the councils pay respect to elders past and present, and the spiritual beliefs that are continuing to those First Nations peoples of today. Council further acknowledges the contributions and the important role that First Nations people continue to play within the community, and we extend that respect to individuals in attendance here today. I'll just tick off my list here in emergency procedures. Should there be a fire or other emergency, the alarm will sound and will be asked for the direction from the council staff. Council meetings are live streamed to the Big Murray Council website. Attendance and participation in the council meeting does not provide any councillors, council employees, or members of the public protection from defamation in relation to behaviour or statements made. Individual opinions or statements made during the council meetings are not legal opinions or statements of the council. A copy of today's agenda is available on the council's website. Members are reminded that if they intend to move, second, or speak or ask a question during the meeting, that they need to clearly indicate their intention to speak by using the microphone system. It is important that members use their microphones appropriately so that those at home can hear clearly. Members are reminded that the use of mobile phones during the meeting is not permitted, and I ask that you turn your phones off or to silent. I have no gallery today, so I don't need to read my statements. We have apologies from Councillor Victoria Hammond, and Simone Bailey is on leave. Scoot down to item 4, to the confirmation of the minutes. The recommendation is that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 27th of January 2026 be taken as read and confirmed. The mover, Councillor Schultz and Councillor Arthur, second. All those in favour? Beautiful. Carried unanimously, thank you. Section 5 is the declaration of interest. So I'll just run around the room. Has anyone got things? There you go.
In relation to item 11.2, I'd like to make a statement about the strength of our programmes and unit discussion. I was a participant last year and may be in the future. However, any benefit gained lost not be limited to me, as it's available to the whole community. So I intend to participate in the debate and to vote.
Thank you.
No.
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 No. Yes. Sorry. Oh, that's my bad. There you go.
Yes, I have a material that would be interested in items 4.1 and
Thank you. No. Okay, business adjourned on 6 is nil. 7 deputations is nil. 8 petitions is also nil. We'll jump straight into item 9.1, the monthly financial report. There is a motion here, the monthly financial report, January 2026 report on the council agenda, 17th February, be received. Have member Councillor Lyons and Councillor Seconder. All those in favour? Oh, sorry, discussion. Sorry, it's nothing but discussion. Sorry, that's my bad. Thank you. Any discussion? No questions? Okay. Lovely. We'll get that on up. All those in favour? Anyone against? carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 9.2 is the mid-year budget review. There is a recommendation here to approve that. The recommendation is that item 1, the mid-year budget review for 2025-26 report, council agenda, 17th February 2026. That doubled up there, yeah. Be received. The 2, council endorses the December budget review with an operating deficit of 1.8 million, a revised total overall increase from 5.081 million to 5.762 million to council adoption. Item 3 is council endorses the 2025-26 annual budget to be amended to reflect the variances as outlined in the summary of the proposed budget changes December 2025. Do we have a mover? Councillor Schultz, and a seconder, Councillor Brown. Thank you. Is there any discussion on that? Councillor Pete, do you want to go first?
Yes, thank you. Just on page 23, there's included in reductions for forecast income. Point 3, S184 recovered cost income. Now, I'm presuming that's the rates arrears property sale.
Yeah, just through the chair, that's the cost, the legal costs of leading up to that. So what happens is any costs actually go into the outstanding rates, and then settlement those outstanding rates if there's enough proceeds. But
Thank you.
Councillor Schultz.
If I ask a question, my closing.
Yes,
I'll make that.
Oh, sorry, yes. Mandy, can you just turn your mic? Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Myers.
Just a question for Clive. Included in reductions of forecast income, number 2, you've got finale revenue, 41,000 lower. I mean, it's never had any revenue.
yeah, so that's, we were actually reducing the budget, so we expected we had revenue, so we're reducing the income that we're expecting from the company.
Oh, that's
We budgeted for income in this third and fourth quarters.
oh, yeah.
Of this financial year.
Yeah.
Because we were hopeful that it was going to be on river data, and so now we're reducing that.
Any other questions? No, hand over to Councillor Schultz, sorry.
On page 23, it says the budget projections have also been prepared on the assumption that there will not be a backlog of any other renewal capital works by the end of the year. Is this an achievable assumption?
Probably not a question to be answered. I'm not the first to answer that.
Defer to Dave.
That'd be that.
If in 1011, through the chair, 1011, we've gone through our road capital works program. We're on target with that. We are adding some more roads to it with the dollars that we've got available. We are probably behind their plant replacement because it was only adopted last month, so that will be targeting that. And their swims capital budget, we're looking at accelerating that as well. So we are endeavouring to catch up.
Well, thanks.
There's no more discussion. I will that motion up. All those in favour? All those against? Very unanimously. Item 10.1 is the infrastructure and field services summary report for the council agenda of the 17th February 2026 VOC. Mover, Councillor Myers, and Councillor McGregor. Is there any discussion that you'd like to have on that? Councillor Toxic McPee first. Thank you.
And on page 40, I just want to say thank you for following up. I got a report from a resident about a hazard Bymesh hazard at Marion Reserve, and that's been looked at really fast and identified. So thanks for that. Then I look at page 49, where there's the table. Table of traffic on the roads, which was really, really interesting. And my comment here is there's not much traffic on Maryland Road, is there? Just given the cost to council of what we've achieved with that road, it's very low usage. So it's just a comment really. Nobody else to respond to that.
With the chair, the traffic council taking a snapshot at that time. We actually have quite a few NHVR requests to go through this. So there's a common road train route. So the guys are working on there now and substantial amount of traffic to go through. Okay. So those traffic counts are only a snapshot at that time.
And just through the chair, clarify, is that what part of Maryland Road is it?
Check, but it would be. We did do section up the top and the bottom to try to clarify the through traffic and whether it was shack road traffic going in and out. So we did one at the top and one at the bottom.
If you can just provide the elected members with that information, then thank you. I think Councillor Davis was going to be your question.
My question here. Easier.
Councillor, you still have another
Yes,
question?
I just have a couple more. Yeah, if that's okay. I was just wondering whether on page 53, talk about council about the LGA timeline issues, these orange swings. And I was just wondering, would it be helpful for council to write the LGA urging flexible timeline?
Through the chair, we had a meeting with the LGA yesterday, the LGA committee, so we presented to the LGA committee. And we believe they've endorsed not the timelines, but they've endorsed the funding for the work to be undertaken. So we're still in liaison with them in regards to the timelines.
So I was just, because it seemed like a surprise that they were wanting some really tight timelines. I suppose my question still remains, would it be helpful for us for council to encourage them to use an appropriate time?
Through chair, I think my position will be, let's see how the meeting played out yesterday, Council Budget Committee Peak. And if we feel that it would be beneficial, then I'll come back to the elected members to do that. Because if they've approved it and we can get an notification this week, then it'll probably be a moot point. But if not, then I think we need to explain. Thank you.
Yeah. Apologies, everybody. Great report, anyway, so really useful. I was just wondering if there was a date yet for the public consultation on the curbside recycling. I've actually had several questions about it already, so just wondering whether we can give people a time frame.
Through the chair, we're just working through that at the moment to make sure we don't want to. We want to make sure it's all ready to go. So it may be slightly delayed because we want to make sure that we've got all the information given the significance of it. So we'll confirm that. At the moment, our plan was to do it within February. That's what the motion was. And if it's going to be outside those timeframes, then we'll come back to the weekend members. But I think we would all agree, given the importance and the significance of this to the community, we want to make sure that the consultation information is accurate and ready to go. So we'll come back to you and let you know. Thanks.
Councillor Schultz.
Thank you.
Mine is a query on page 53 as well about there's one where it swims. It says the LGA have requested a number of variation assessments of the original tender. What's that about?
Through the chair, basically we went to tender for a detailed design, but they gave us the time frame to do it. The detailed design does take quite a considerable amount of time. So we were probably reduced by the amount of time that the consultants could actually do the work. In that whole process, they've changed the timelines because the better the investigative work done at the outset of the project, the less variations you have at a later date. So we're trying to capitalise on the investigative work now rather than actually waiting till you're delivering the project and you have so many more risks in the project. So we'll be working through those matters with the LGA and also the preferred contractor.
Councillor McGregor.
Sure, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say it's a great report, and it's really good to see the Johnson's Hill and the Mary in there, which are topical at the moment. And that, it's just really disappointing to see that they have the water at lunchtime. And then they the remediations gets from there. Yeah, it's disappointing to see that happen.
Thank you, Councillor Barber.
Through the chair, just a couple of questions. Regarding sandbox. Has there been any other issue or medical automation is last resolution for government? And also, where is the small ranges being trying to be regions? I mean, that should be.
Through the chair, we haven't had any more major reports about the sandbox. The reason why the city on India was the battery was actually flat, so I wasn't charging. That's been replaced. We've had no major issues from that at all that I'm aware of. The Swan Reach standby, basically it's in front of someone's driveway. We're looking at running a pipe probably a couple of metres up the road, so the water delivery station just away from the driveway. The people who are actually accessing that area are parking across the driveway. So we're trying to move about from 10 to 15 metres away from the driveway.
Thank you. Any other questions? I only had one small one. With the traffic counters, how is it chosen where they're going to be placed on the road? Just
For share, it's all about asset data collection. Generally, we do one on this Black Heath Road because we know there's going to be a best out that area. If we're looking at any road upgrades, we would look at potentially tracking the traffic counters. We actually assisted DIT to put them on the Ridley Road at Canberra when there was issues with speed and the vehicles. So generally, it's by our asset management processes about our hierarchy of roads. We have had a request about putting one out now for speeding, but they are traffic counters. They will track speed, but they're not accurate. So we've had a request now to have one location for it, but it's generally to pick up data so that we know what roads are actually being used for.
Yeah. Lovely, thank you. No questions from anybody else. I will put my hand up. All those in favour? Thank you. And against? That's carried. Item 10.2, the Cadell Pub Anzac Day Dawn Service temporary road closure request. I am going to take this motion as read. Is there a mover and a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Councillor Davis, Councillor McGregor. Would anyone like to speak on this motion? No. I'll put the motion up. All those in favour? Thank you. That is carried. Item 10.3. Yep. 10.3. The Morgan RSL Anzac Day March temporary road closure request. I would also like to take this motion as read. I'm looking for a mover and a second. Mover Councillor Malaya, second Councillor Top. Chairman Peake, thank you. Any discussion on that one? No. Or I'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Thank you. That is carried. Item 10.4, the Manning RSL Anzac Day Service temporary road closure request. I'd also like to take this motion as read. For a mover and seconder. Thank you, Councillor Barber. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor McGregor. Any questions or discussions? No. All those in favour? Thank you. Against? That motion is carried. Item 10.5, so the Man of Dragon Boat Course Exam Masters game. The recommendation is that the SA Masters game Dragon Boats event application council agenda for 17th February 2026 be received. 2, approval be granted to allow the Mount Dragon Boat Club to hold the Dragon Boat event in a portion of the Mount West Marina, Saturday, 11th April 2026, subject to the general conditions of the council's major event permit. Council in supporting the costs incurred. Council in supporting the costs incurred for the event be noted as community sponsorship by council. The CEO be authorised to make minor amendments to the event logistics as required. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Barber and Seconder. Councillor McGregor, thank you. Any questions? No, no. That motion up. Those in favour, thank you. And against, that motion is carried.
Through the chair, we have an issue with the microphone, so if we're not to use the microphone for the moment, just speak up loud, which everyone is anyway. So
Okay.
work through an issue.
Right. I'm happy with that. It's pretty bad. All right. Item 11.1, the Disability Access and Inclusion Plan for 2026 to 2030, draft or public consultation. There's a recommendation there that I will read. That the Disability Access and Inclusion Plan of 2026-2030, draft for public consultation report on the council agenda of the 17th February 2026 be received. The draft Disability Access and Inclusion Plan for 2026-2030 be endorsed for public consultation in accordance with Council's public consultation policy and the developed engagement plan, and the Chief Executive Officer or nominee be authorised to make amendments of a minor and or technical nature to reflect feedback provided by Council. Do we have a mover? Councillor Myers, thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Barber. Thank you. Is there any discussion on that item? Thank you, ma'am. Councillor McKee. Don't use your microphone. Turn that one off. Thank you.
Yeah, I think these documents are government speak documents, and some of the language in there, I'm sure, is what we're required to put in there. So it's no criticism of the construction of it. It's for a purpose. But I have a concern that for people wanting to have a review on this, that it's very legalistic, sort of jargony. And I just wondered, and I know it has to go out for consultation, but I just wondered whether there could be some kind of plain language summary that goes out with it to the people for whom this is really important. My other question, I suppose, is actually who's it aimed for? Is it aimed for the government to show that we're doing it and the staff who have to implement it, or is it actually aimed at the public? As it's written, I don't think it's aimed at the public, but again, I'll just reiterate that I think a plain language summary would serve the purpose.
Through the chair. So yes, as part of the engagement material, we've produced a summary and an FAQ document to assist people to understand the purpose of the plan. Yes, you are correct in the sense that it's more about what council is doing in terms of its obligations around disability access and inclusion, but also in terms of how community can also begin to address those opportunities. So it has dual sort of purpose.
Yeah. Lovely. There's some hands up down the end. Would you guys like to speak as well?
So I also just wanted to add that once we have the final approved rules by council, then there is also an easy read version that we have that we will page, and that is a very, very simple language. It's written for people that it's a combination of simple language and also pictures, and it's developed and designed for people who have cognitive disability to be able to understand as well.
Thank you. Yes.
Can I just add that I'm not suggesting for a moment that that everybody isn't perfectly capable of reading this document. It's not that I want it easy for people who have I mean, that's great for people that have cognitive difficulties, but I just think to have a summary in your hand when you want to consider what's going on for others in the community. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions on this motion? No? Okay, all those in favour? Thank you in advance, that is carried. Item 11.2, the amended register of fees and charges for the Madden Leisure Centre. We have received a few inquiries about this one, so I'm just wondering if the chamber is happy to have a short term of meeting suspend the meeting procedures for a short term. Is that right?
Short term, suspension of meeting procedures.
Short term suspension of meeting procedures. Can I just have a show of hands to make sure that we're all okay? Thank you very much. And we will suspend for 10 minutes. Thank you. And you're okay to time that for me? Lovely. Thank you. So I open up to anyone with questions or further discussion.
Or do you want to give us some read first? Ariel Scott.
Yes, I'll let Scott speak. I think I've got a good handle on this. I'll give you the question.
Yeah. So the changes of the amendments to the fees and charges register is really to provide some clarity around our use of the gym facility for contractors. And this sort of come out of a little bit of a handover between contractors and just making sure that we have classes that are feasible for contractors to run at the centre. So we have set the 6-month review. We've done some benchmarking and come up with sort of a model that is best from a risk management perspective, but also allows contractors to deliver these services for the community. And then 6 months to make sure that it's all working well, fairness for the participant, fairness for us, and fairness for the contractors as well.
I think it's important to note that obviously we've tried to make sure that these costs remain reasonable, particularly for the participants, but noting that at the end of the day, we are also operating a gym and a facility that needs to obviously generate income. So it is that fine balance between making it affordable. We are conscious of the fact that if we didn't make it affordable for the contractor, the entire program would be lost to the community because it wouldn't be financially viable for them to actually offer it. So it is that balance. So I think we've sort of struck a reasonable position, but I think bringing it back in 6 months with a review to see how we might tweak it and see what impact it has on members. The membership of the gym is probably the key sticking point. And obviously, again, we've tried to bring that down to the point where participants have the option of actually becoming a gym member or paying a casual fee.
Clarify that, Gary. So it's a concession membership for participants, which is the same as a student membership. Yep, around 260.
Yeah, for 12 months. Incentivises it gets cheaper long term. And that specifically would be off-peak, so that it's for people who are wanting to use the gym during the day. It's often going to be retirees, older adults, and it's because they're not going to be using the gym 24/7. So we sort of saw that as a key piece of feedback we received. And it's common practice amongst most gym facilities to have that pricing slightly cheaper. Yeah.
And then there's also a casual opportunity where they pay $10, or we will charge the contractor $10 if they're not a gym member. So they can do that from a casual perspective. And then it's the contractor's responsibility to either charge that or not. There is a casual option as well.
And that's per person. $10 per person that goes into the gym. Non-member, yeah.
And that's another clarification. If that is for the gym, if the program is to be run at the senior citizens room and not use gym, then there's no cost.
Yeah. And the other thing is worth noting that at the moment, because it is an unstaffed facility for those periods of the day, we are relying on the contract it's an honesty system around payment of that fee and using of that pass, as we don't have an electronic system or anything like that can actually manage that for us at this stage.
Thank you, yes. Councillor Harper.
I just wanted to clarify something after reading through the report. What I understand is if the participants pay the off-peak membership, the contractor pays a small fee to run their class, but how much does the participant then pay the contractor, or is that for food?
So that is because they're contractors, they're able to set their own fees.
Currently the Strength for Life program is capped at $12, because it's delivered under like a partnership with Strength for Life. So they currently charge 10. And the feedback is because particularly the gym space is very small, they can't have big classes up there, and it does impact on other members as well. So they need to be small classes, and then that fee being quite cheap as well, targeted at older adults, often with a lot of income to be paying for these things.
Jack McPeak.
Thanks. I had a sort of a few, I understand the complexities of it, and it's been difficult to come up with a solution. My concern is that the people who go, they get sick, they have doctor's appointments or something their family does, and they are not people who operate as regularly attending every week without fail. So there is a bit of an issue with I understand that the rate is fair enough, 260, but if people then go, I still want to do it, but I'm going to pay month by month, that changes the whole dynamic cost-wise enormously, $400, $540 a year if you pay monthly. And these people really, really, really want this service and need it and stay very mobile. Some of them are in the 90s. So I just have a concern that they will look at this and they'll just go, it's not feasible. It'll just collapse. So my other concern was who monitors the membership? Is it the responsibility of the contractor every time to have people show that they're members? And I guess my other theory was, is it possible to have, what is the higher rate for the contractor? Looking at the schedule, I couldn't quite see which rate would apply to the contractor, so how much they have to earn per hire of the room.
That's the first question. Good chair, and you guys, they would have to go 26 weeks to cost more than the membership. So if they're going to go 40 weeks, they're not going to pay $10 a week.
Okay.
Because they would join up as a member.
Yeah.
So it's only $10 per week, is that correct? Or $10 per session?
$10 session.
Just per session.
In total. No.
Per session.
Per session.
This is where it's casual. Yeah. This I'm struggling to understand it. But so there's a rate to be paid to us, to council, and then there's a rate to be paid to the contractor. Is that right?
Yes.
So it would be $15, $5 a week minimum, plus $10 per session that they attend. Okay. So that's the absolute minimum, and then it kind of goes up there depending on their ability to attend. And I just wondered also about come and try sessions, which loads of people come and give it a go first before they.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So I understand the confusion. Trust me, we've worked on this for a fair bit. So two separate charges. One that they need to pay the contractor. So the $10 is to Strength for Life. We don't see that money. Then they pay us the $260 for a year, which if they were to come for 52 weeks, it works out to $5 a week. But they can come multiple times within that time frame of 10 to 3. So they can come. So if they do miss a class because of health, they can come next week, and they can come 10 times during the week if they would like to. They will have a swiper like normal 24/7 gym users. We can change we've got the ability within the system to set times. That's what we do with the children membership, so they can only come between 3 and 7, and that's done through the system, so that they're not allowed access at other times. So it's been set up that it's in the off-peak, so when the gym is less busy, so most gym members that we currently have are either working, so they can come after hours, and obviously the kids come between 3 and 7, so it's quite busy during those times. So this is the off-peak time, which is when the classes are happening, and they can also use the gym during those times. So there's two very separate amounts. If they pay the casual rate, then we will charge the contractor that. it's still an honesty system. The contractor still has to say to us, I had 3 non-members today. We will then charge him on top of his $10 a day fee. We will charge him the additional for 3 non-members. It's then up to him to claim that back. But that was just something that we came up with because we have no way, because the centre is not staffed, of charging a casual fee otherwise. So for us to make the money for the centre, that was our approach. Did that sort of answer all? Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. We have 1 minute left, or 30 seconds left actually. Do we want to continue this discussion out of meeting or move back in? Going fast.
Yes, so the difference between the way it was and the way both to be is basically $5 a week. If they do with occupation. So it's all the same charges for the contractor, and $5 a week to
And yes, like cheaper. Also, just really quickly, we are going to speak to finance. Not sure if this is options yet, but we do want to have the possibility of direct debit. So then that may make the day-to-day cheaper rather than them having to pay $260 a month. That's something we still need to look into.
Thank you. Our time is up, so we will move back into meeting procedures. I will read the council administration's recommendation. The recommendation is that the council, the amended fee register. Start again. The amended register of fees and charges, Manor Leisure Centre report on the council agenda of 17th February 2026 be received. Pursuant to section 188 of the Local Government Act of 1999, council's fees and charges registers, as amended and presented, be adopted by council. A report be provided to council after 6 months assessing the utilisation, financial impact, stakeholder feedback, and operational effectiveness of the changes, with recommendations for any necessary adjustments. Do we have a mover for that motion? Thank you, Councillor McGregor, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Myers. Is there any discussion on this item? All those in favour of the motion? Thank you, and against? That is carried. Thank you, Scott. Move on to item 11.3. The Mid-Murray Community Benefit Fund and Renewable Energy Community Benefit Sharing Policy. You're more than welcome to read it if you like. I don't like it, that's okay. I just have to focus. I can't see anyone else in the room when I'm reading. The Mid-Murray Community Benefit Fund and Renewable Energy Community Benefit Sharing Policy report on the Council agenda of the 17th February 2026 be received. In principle, support is provided for the creation of the Mid-Murray Community Benefit Fund to be progressed, and that the Chief Executive Officer or the nominee is authorised to collaborate with Foundation Barossa to investigate and develop the necessary agreement, with a further report to be presented prior to executing the final agreement. The draft Renewable Energy Community Benefit Sharing Policy version 1 be endorsed for public consultation in accordance with Council's public consultation policy and the engagement plan. The Chief Executive Officer be authorised to make amendments of a minor and/or technical nature as a part of the finalisation of the draft Renewable Energy Community Benefit Sharing Policy version 1. Do we have a move for that motion? Thank you, Councillor Barber. Second, thank you, Councillor. Check the peak. I got it. Sorry. Is there any discussion on this motion? Questions? Thank you, Councillor McGregor.
Just with the chair, a lot of I think going with the policy to start really good then maybe down the track there is an option for us to foundation to work with us to set it up as that. There's only two that the It's going to put money in the community centre, so that let's go see what we do for this place. That should be- so, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions on that motion? Thank you, councillor Barr. Oh, yeah,
No, that's fine. That's just
So yeah, just had a couple of questions or ones of clarification. So all the money being pulled into one fund should way through.
Yes, so the intention is to engage the renewables to contribute to the fund. Obviously, it's their choice as to whether they do or don't. But, at the end of the day, they're not obliged to. But the encouraging conversations that we've had is at least there's two of concept, and through this engagement, we'll be writing directly to each of the renewables to obtain their feedback on the proposed policy and the framework. Yes, we are hoping that they will all contribute at some point, and then yes, that money will be put into the Foundation's trust fund, and of which then 80% will be passed through as grants to the community, and 20% invested in future opportunities.
So the second part of this is regarding the grant system. The areas that you have renewables in their location, they get any priority for those grants at all, because the infrastructure is in their community. There was a discussion in the chamber last year about whether that's a fair way.
So this policy doesn't prevent renewable companies still providing their own community benefit sharing programs. So depending on what percentage they contribute to this joint fund, they will still be providing their own programs. So if I would use the example of Tilt Renewables, they would be running their own program, hopefully contributing to the joint fund. That joint fund then can be communities from beyond the footprint of the projects can apply. So there's still opportunity for a member of the community group of Palmer still to apply to this fund. But it also then allows the community of Blanchetown, Canberra to apply to that fund.
And just one, and lastly, it's the public information. I was reading through what was there, and I was a little bit lost in it. So that's maybe
So again, we've done a quick little summary sheet of the FAQs. So this particular engagement, we're very focused in who we're engaging with. So we're writing directly to all the progress associations, we're writing to all the renewables, we're writing to government agencies, we're writing to councils, a whole host of stakeholders. So we're doing very direct engagement on this one, besides relying on public notice on the website.
We'll just skip the township like
Sorry.
Canberra.
but this unfortunately, Jeff has closed out our
Sorry.
discussion. Sorry, have to be the bad.
I just thought a bit more.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'll ask you afterwards.
Sorry, guys. So Jeff has closed our discussion there. Councillor Barber. So I will bring us back. So we've had a mover, we've had a seconder. I'll put the motion up. I'll get there in the end. But all those in favour. Thank you. Against, that's carried. Item 12.1, the revocation of community land status. I'll just have a look. Was there any conflict of interests? Thank you, Councillor Barber.
I consider that I have a material conflict of interest with section 75. My material conflict of interest as follows. I am vice chair of the Progress Association. Not thankful for a meeting that husband made at the Progress Association.
Thank you. Can you apply?
Jeez. Doesn't take long.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Simone.
Yeah, nice and late. Ben and myself received a little bit of feedback on this, and I'm wondering if we're happy with the short-term meeting suspensions for 10 minutes, just to show of hands. Thank you. 10:15. For short-term meeting suspension. I'll hand over. Well, actually, I might start. Is that okay? I have also thrown in an alternative motion. What's my screens? It's alright, I'm putting one. I've added one line in, given the feedback that we have received, is that council administration investigates converting lot 165 Schmidt Lane, Bowfield, to specific vehicle car parking. I'm not sure if anyone else has any thoughts, or don't like it, that's fine, but I just thought that might give us a little bit of leeway into keeping the public.
Is that the larger of the three?
That's the larger one on Schmidt's Lane.
Right.
Yeah.
The centre one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yes. Yeah, Councillor Sarah,
Yeah, I'll, after our last brief session, and ask a few extra questions and ask whether there was extra land that the Schmidts had, which seemed to be the board said about common parcels of land vacant that they hold as their reserves and so like that. So it's not only these parcels of land. We public use.
They're not public.
No, they're not, but they've got their blocks that they could have.
They may have properties.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought they were empty.
Oh, they're vacant.
Oh, they can get the vacant. That's clear. The other question I asked is, is about the closest float bank and parking program. And so there's one that's local, and there's a parking area there which doesn't have any exclusions or limitations on it. So to me, what that, from what they said that is that people will come with their boats and trailers, put everything that they own into take it down the boat ramp, then go out and sort of enter those areas from the answers. And then at the end of the day, so the trailers are I just think to add that extra renewal cafe that's a potato looked after and that's
Just a question with that point 6. If council make that lot 166 parking,
165, yep. Just to be clear.
That middle block. If an accident happens on there and a child is hurt or something, is council liable?
That's something that we need to investigate further unless there's any answers from around the room. Maybe we can get Dave.
Look, obviously, it's council land and we've created a car park that we would need to put into place to manage risk, as we do with any road or car parking space. So we're adding
we'll do is it's not actually a formalised car park, so that should be a form of car parking. So the risk would probably still come back to the Road Traffic Act and Australian road rules as to whether they're being required at that site, even though there's no formal registered parking or formal infrastructure site.
Councillor Myers.
Who's going to police it?
Through.
I mean, you don't want like a long weekend. You don't want a Mark getting calls every 5 minutes because Joe Blow's pinching my car park spot. And long weekends are bad enough.
Yeah.
Through August, it would be our service levels. We don't have car parking or parking infringements as a high priority. And as Dave mentioned, it'd be informal. We've got hundreds of informal car parks up and down the river that pay out. So there wouldn't be parking. We wouldn't be please.
So on the same topic, the Smith family or people, are they going to look at that as their car park? And they'll start policing
So
it?
the feedback will know because it's community land.
Right.
It's not they don't own those parts of the land. It's community. And so the feedback that has come through not only from the Schmitz about historical setup of the development, but from those vendors or residents or owners, ratepayers from Smith Lane was that car parking issue. And so in the report, I acknowledge that consideration could be given for potentially doing something like that. And so Smith Lane is quite small. It is quite tight, and there is those with the 3 parcels on that area to be. So this would be a compromise of what's been provided as part of the feedback process. What are people's thoughts about that? Sure.
Yes.
Temporary measure.
So the proposed motion says that we would investigate it.
Yeah.
So what this report is, and it should be really clear, is this is just a proposal to seek the minister's feedback and consideration of the revocation of community land. And so this is not actually saying we don't be able to. The minister may have a different opinion and might come back. And obviously council will consider the report again following the minister's consideration. So because all we are asking for is the revocation to be considered by the minister. If a further report would come back to council, or any decision would be made to divest or change the classification plan.
And that if that parcel was that classification revoked, then council would need to develop an appropriate community management plan for ongoing management, for which then the classification of its use would be identified. And if it's deemed that parking was the appropriate one, alternative might be deemed that it's not, and therefore it is deemed that it would be a recreational reserve or some other use.
I'd actually like, I'd actually like to see it left in the motion, Schmitz Lane to still be sent for revocation. However, also investigate if it can be done. So I want to know if the minister comes back and says, no, you can't get rid of that piece of land, then the waste up, so waste up time effectively. So I'd still like to see it in there. Or if they say, yep, you can get rid of it, I'll get rid of it.
Yeah, because change of use, any land has to go through this process to get a change of function, including parking.
Yeah, if it's community land. And so
which it is.
What we're doing, and that makes sense, all we're doing is asking to change the classification of community land to council land, and then council make the decision what they do with it.
Yeah.
And so Councillor Warhurst's comment around keeping it in is smart, and then we can still investigate, and the minister will decide one way or the other, and we might not be able to do it, or if he does decide that we can, then we have investigation.
Well, we've got 1 minute left. Any other questions, thoughts? No. Okay. We will return back to meeting procedures at 10:24. Thank you. Do you want me to read this?
No, put the motion up as we discussed.
Okay, so we will put the motion up as we discussed with item 6 added in there. I might just read out item line 6 of the motion, just to give us I'll take the rest as read, but read out it that we've just added in. The council administration investigates converting lot 165 Schmitz Lane, Bow Hill to vehicle parking. So I'm looking for a mover for the full recommendation. Thank you, Councillor. Oh, sorry, Toxic McPeak.
Not that.
Top check. I'm going to have to write on top of all my pages. Top check McPeak. And a seconder, thank you, Councillor McGregor. Any discussion around this motion? No, I'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Thank you. And against? That is carried. And somebody put that. Yeah. No, thank you.
Andy?
Top check, top check. Oh, this check.
But I really want to have a good discussion. We just added at the council added 0.6 up there. Where all the investigate so all of the items are still going to be referred to the minister for consideration. It's not doing anything with it other than
We will move on to item 12.2, Community Land Management Plan for Lot 6, Olive Road, Burco. The recommendation is that the Community Land Management Plan Lot 6 uphold. Merco Road report on the council agenda of the 18th of February 2026 be received. The revised Community Land Management Plan for Lot 6 uphold. Road, Merco, council assessment A5255 be adopted. The Chief Executive Officer be authorised to make amendments of a minor and or technical nature as a part of the finalisation of the Community Land Management Plan for Lot 6. Road, Merco, council assessment A5255. Do we have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Myers, and seconder. Thank you, Councillor Davis. Is there any discussion on this item? Thank you, Councillor Schultz.
Just on point 1 of community benefit to the group.
17th, it's body. Is there any other discussion? I'll just hold off to
all right.
move. Councillor Barber.
Yeah, I was actually a little bit confused when I read the report. It seems like there's on the map showed a large section of land. When the report said there's quite it looked like that to be quite so I think it's something of clarification on how much of the requirements is actually how that happens. You know,
you want to come up to the
That's fine. It's the whole.
right. So it's probably like 5
I can confirm that. But yeah, that was in the information. So.
Vicky, just so that 500 in your report, or what's
in the ministry?
Yeah.
But I thought I did.
Yeah. We'll confirm that. That was picked up prior.
Thank you, Councillor Barber. Is there any other questions? No, I will hand back to Councillor Myers to finish the discussion.
So my question is this the end of it? This been going on probably the whole time I've been on council.
So through the chair, so this is just a community land management plan.
Yeah.
There's a current lease on place, in place for lot 6, and that expires in 2029. So conversations and discussions are happening with the leaseholders, which is the Pine Village Highway Association Corporation. That's the term. And there's also conversations with the adjacent owners about use of the parcel of land, most importantly, most significantly, sorry, the boat ramp. So those conversations will continue. Just deal with the new land management.
So we've got another 10 or 12 years to go.
The matter will continue.
So that closes out our discussion. I will put the motion up. All those in favour? Thank you. And against, those carried. Item 12.3, the Chief Executive Officer's monthly report. The recommendation is that the Chief Executive Officer's monthly report for the council agenda of 17th of February 2026 be received. Do we have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Barber. And a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Davis. Any discussion on this item? Councillor Barber. Is there anyone else before I move to Councillor Barber? No, Councillor Barber, thank you. Okay, all those in favour of the motion, thank you, and against, is carried. Item 12.4, the motion action list. The recommendation is that the motion action list report for the council agenda of 17th of February 2026 be received. Do we have a mover? Councillor McGregor, thank you, and a seconder. Councillor Barber, thank you. Is there any discussion on that item? No, I'll put that up. All those in favour? Thank you, and against, as carried. Item 13.1, facilities review of the Blanchetown Community Hub. We have received some feedback, so I'm just looking to the room to see if a short-term suspension of meeting procedures would be supported. Just a show of hands. Thank you. And let's do 15 minutes on this one. Thank you very much. At 10:32. I'll hand over to the floor for question and discussion.
You want to give a
summary? I'll try to give a quick summary. So, thanks through the chair. So this has come about obviously through the whole sustainability review, sleep review, or initial concepts around options for the Blanchetown Hub. Report. We then had the request to change the operating day. That's endorsed for the trial period. We initially brought a report back to extend that and asked to defer the item so that a full comprehensive report be brought back on all the options, so revisiting effectively the really intent of the facilities review. So we have basically presented 4 options in the report. Effectively continue the service as is, seek to provide a leaner model, leading to post the total of those options are still presented there. There's pros and cons with each of those options. There is still a small group of people who do utilise the facility, but it is always going to run at a loss in terms of council facilitating it.
Thank you, Councillor Barber.
Yes, I noticed that there has been an increase in use. And I was just wondering, any of the running costs that were listed in the report, are any of those costs shared with the board?
So the costs there in table 4 are the costs that were incurred by council. They're 100% council's incurred costs. So in terms of going forward, there may be an opportunity to negotiate that some of those costs will be taken on by the community. So that's if the council wishes to address maintaining facilities.
was my sort of theory of it. So because doing that was the really expenses that we had to pay for, and when it's not our council do it, is a concern. I think that's what I think possible to sort of just review what we're sort of doing. Because the community still, the whole community still, still run a lot of things out there. It's just the council. And we're paying, you know, all of these stuff costs and stuff like that. So that's what I just have a little bit.
Yeah, I guess my overwhelming feeling about this is that there's much of a return to be gained, even if we stop using it, it's still be costs associated, largely salary. And so I suppose I'm edging towards feeling like, is there a better use of staff time in terms of our sustainability measures in other areas than a very lengthy review continuing over a small program that we've already reduced? So, you know, I think the cost benefit of us looking more at the broader things like council of land and buildings disposal, given that this is still a small and important service for Lunchtime residents. So I think there's other areas where it's much better financial return for time spent. So that's
So I'm just wondering how what's the feeling of it? What's the feedback you get?
I was there a couple of weeks ago, and the committee up there, it's given they don't want to go. You know, but I've like looking through the expenses categories there. I mean, if they want to keep them, why can't they, you know, voluntary cleaning? I mean, there's $3,000.
You think that the committee would be open to?
Well, I believe it could be suggested. As far as electricity and gas, well, I don't know about whether they even have gas. The electricity, that bill is actually under the hall's name. Then they invoice council their share. And that's how that works. That works a bit different. Yeah.
That has significantly reduced in the last few years because
there's opportunities for us to have conversations around those expenses.
And that didn't happen during the actual sustainability review. So we did speak to them in regards to them taking over opening up the Services Australia as other services that they would open before, but that's something that they wanted to do. So, you know, it is their fault. They still do a lot of things in that hall. Being that the day has changed to the Wednesday, if the hall is open on a Wednesday because they have much there. I guess the main part of our service is
in the discussions that have happened with Wes and I, is the option, as the recommendation has been suggested, is we go back and try to make it leaner and have a look at it over the next few months. Whilst we do that, versus closing it, it's been a discussion point, or just accepting that we've gone through a review and felt that there's minimal costs associated with councils, wages which would have to be repurposed if that person wasn't, just travelling costs and potential savings. that it's important for the community, which has been quite clear through feedback. So there's sort of the discussion points. I think there's definitely an opportunity if council decide that they want to continue it, is that we could look at reducing the costs, operating expenses. That's probably my summary of what I've.
And that recommendation.
It does, yeah. Versus the feeds comment is those resources and then staff reviews would be best focused on their
While we are wanting more sustainable, sometimes money isn't everything. You've got to think about the people affected, what that would have, what the repercussions that would have on their life. And I think sometimes we've got to just, say, well, okay, we're never going to make money there, but it's a service that people value. So
we all know what it's like to live in a small town community. You have that sort of one service.
So just a question for Nat, the $9,000 from Centrelink or Service Australia, is that what Centrelink pay to operate?
And they have reviewed that. They came out a couple of months ago. We haven't had any more feedback from them. That amount may reduce because we are only working 4 hours a week.
Yep.
So they are reviewing it, but we haven't yet.
And that's where the closed expenses obviously reduce, or reduce the income. Yeah, that's why it's only if you take out the wages.
But I still think probably sitting down with the whole committee with these figures and sort of going through the process that in their whole they operate certain things like they do the Strength for Life, they have craft days, and I think there's probably 4 days a week there's something on the call. So all those people are using the toilets and council paying clean. There's got to be a compromise there somewhere.
Yeah.
Carol, can you just benefit council provided alternative recommendation? So this, sorry, just go up one. So alternate one, go up one. Was another, so we created those depending where council went, which is the council maintain a budget down really hard at current terms. So if you want to keep going, that was the information that was proposed. And then Mandy's first, done it by just stop a bit. Given the proven value of the service community, the minimal potential savings and small cost goal, council approves the continuation of the current plan hub service into the future, and there's been the completion of the review of the hub. If I'm hearing the talk of the room, potentially that, but with just the conversations with the committee around potential cost savings around that shared cost. Is that? The words of people's mouths, that's what I'm hearing. If you potentially the motion can be drafted, but at the end of it, we'll change it to completion review just to do that in a review. You can come to that Carol up.
Yeah, who's the first? Maybe these two. There is a lot of needs for the there's other housing facility for it, and this will level about us to set expectation. I think that having those sort of discussions to with an outcome reducing something. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I was just going to say that obviously the recommendation for the leaner delivery model is also how we provide services at the moment. Obviously, the library So if we went with alternate recommendation, we can still do that, but it also allow us to have a conversation. So those are things that I think just happen from a business perspective that we're able to improve operational efficiency.
Would you like that component to be included? So our community service delivery model?
I think it'd be good to include it. Yeah.
Any your thoughts? So maybe given the proven value of the service, community minimal savings and store control, council further continuation of current lifetime community hub service into the future. Maybe comma there, Carol. Future with administration look into a leaner service delivery model. How is that already?
Transition. Yeah, transition.
Just do the words for
Yes. Suggestion is that we continue to later. So it's ongoing.
continue that, so with the administration to continue.
Yep.
Consider.
Consider.
Continue to transition.
Well, I said continue to implement.
Yeah.
We're very close to our time. I'm
We
going
are. Millions of your motion.
So can we keep in that this will be completion of the review? It's been reviewed.
Yeah.
So this is just back to normal operational business.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. To do that makes it, it's just something it's we always need to.
Yeah.
So Carol cut and this that way, yeah, with the cursories. And this it's been completion of the hub.
Leave that bit in the end.
With your cursories, yeah.
Question that, do they have any volunteers coming in?
And copy that to up to the future. You probably comment. Up to the future. Yeah.
It's just really copy.
Yeah. Yep, cool. Yeah. And put it after hub.
That's the end of our timer.
Right.
Yep. We will move back into the procedures at 10:48. I will read the recommendation that we've just discussed. The Facilities Review National Community Health Report on the Council agenda of 17th February 2026 be received. Given the proven value of the service to the community, the minimal potential savings and the small cost involved, Council approves the continuation of the current Blightstown Community Hub service into the future, and that this be the completion of the review of the hub, with the administration to continue to implement a leaner service delivery model. Before I move on to that motion, thank you, Councillor Myers and Councillor Peak. And we move to, is there any discussions on this item? No, I will put that item up. All those in motion, all those in favour, sorry. And those against, thank you, that is carried.
I love how Carol follows the your reading with the cursor. It's like the music, the buttons that following the voice. Without
Thank you, Nat. Thank you.
Thank you, Nat. Thank you.
We will move on to item 14.1, summary of the audit and risk committee meeting. The recommendation is that the summary of the audit and risk committee meeting report on the council agenda of the 17th of February be received. 2, the minutes of the audit and risk committee meeting held on February 2026 be received. Do we have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Barber. Thank you, Councillor Schultz. Is there any discussion on that? No. Lovely. I'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Thank you. That is carried. And against? Thank you. That is carried. Item 14.2, minutes of the Strategic Growth and Economic Activation Committee meeting held on the 28th of January. The recommendation is that the minutes of the Strategic Growth and Economic Activation Committee meeting held on the 28th of January 2026, report on the council agenda of 17th February 2026 be received, and the minutes of the Strategic Growth and Economic Activation Committee meeting held on the 28th of January 2026 be received. There's a double up on last year's paper here, sorry.
The first one should be a report.
Yeah. So is that a report? Yep.
Yep.
And the next one is just been received.
Yep.
Yep. For a mover. Thank you, Councillor Barber. Thank you, Councillor Davis. Is there any questions? Councillor Schultz.
Not on the report itself, but would there be the possibility of doing a name change for this committee? Because it's a bit of
Through the chair, it's for the term of council, so we'll consider the name for the committee when council decides whether they have those committees.
Maybe through the Brains Trust on staff can things together.
They came up with that one, so
No.
poor Gary.
No.
Right, we have a mover and a second. Is there any more questions on that item? No, I'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, thank you. That is carried.
Through the chair, just want to clarify back to that item on the Apple Road. So in the confusion was that there was the original report provided and the original prompt, the figure was wrong, and then the revised prompt drafted was attachment 3, and that had the right figure of 39,700 square metres. So the error was in the original prompt, not right. So just want to clarify.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Item 15.1 is the Mayor's Monthly Report. Recommendation is that the Mayor's Monthly Report on the Council agenda 17th February 2026 be received. We have a mover. Thank you, Councillor Barber, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Davis. Is there any discussion on that report? No. Oh, Councillor Barber, we will close out the discussion with your comments.
Yes. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favour of the motion? Thank you. And against? As carried. Item 16.1, the elected members' monthly report. The recommendation is that the elected members' monthly report on the council agenda for 17th February 2006 be received. We have a mover. Thank you, Councillor Barber, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor McGregor. Is there any questions? Yes, Councillor Schultz.
Just an apology. Time got away from me. I'll have to fill in on next one.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? No, that's thank you. I'll put the motion up. All those in favour? Yeah, against? That is carried. Item 17, motions with notice, there is nil. Item 18, questions with notice, we have none. Item 19, questions without notice. We have of a strategic nature, thank you. We have not received any. Is there any today? No, none. Item 20, the confidential reports are nil. Item 21, the next council meeting to be held at Manning at 9:30 AM on Tuesday the 17th of March. And that is the end. So we will I will declare the council meeting closed at 10:54 AM. Thank you.